Now, lecturers and students of Ghana's public and private universities have called for mass testing of students and lecturers as over 8,000 final year students go back to the lecture halls after more than 3 months of schools closing down because of COVID-19 measures. Interacting with Roland Walker on the AM show this morning, President of the University Teachers Association of Ghana and the National Union of Ghana Students President enumerated the importance for school authorities to monitor the observance of protocols on coronavirus prevention while in school.
Position is an outright rejection of the bill, and we go on to expose the reason or the underlying grounds for that decision on 3 grounds. First, that it is unconstitutional, and secondly, it is unnecessary, and thirdly, application of the bill, if it's passed into law, will create more problems than they seem to solve. The unconstitutionality is founded on article. As it stands now, it is not only the concerns of students that have been taken into account, but of lecturers as well. And so we are hoping that things will go according to plan. We are very much concerned about our students. They need to finish their exams, and for example, at the School of Law, they need to write the exams to go to the Ghana School of Law to do their professional law program. So it is very hectic for us, but we are trying to do our best to meet their needs and their concerns. And so with the structures that the University of Ghana has put into place, which largely meet our needs and our concerns, because the university is equally concerned about the well-being of the lecturers. We believe that things will work out fine, but I guess the implementation will tell if there are any gaps that will need to be dealt with.
An important aspect of all that needs to be done, Professor Mafo, is to ensure that perhaps there's some level of an intent to meet you halfway because of the risk you are taking. This period that you're going back to school as a lecturer, do you consider it a risk activity you're undertaking, or is just part of the normal processes of your academic work?
Roland, that is a very big question. Really, I mean, for us, I mean, since this even COVID-19, most of us have been to school because, you know, we've been, if it is we are in a risky business, then we have already been in it. I really don't think any member of us is going to perhaps ask for any, you know, as you said, motivation or anything. As Prof. Abidjan said, we are more concerned about our students, that they will be able to come to school and finish their exams, and their interest, that they will not be infected with this disease. And so we are, the same way we think about that, about them, we are also going to put in place, you know, measures so that we will come out on tape. And for the fact that we are working well, if some authority is going to appreciate it and think that, well, teachers perhaps need some motivation, so be it. But I really don't, that is not our primary objective. We have always been in the business of teaching. We love doing that. And we are going to see to it that that job is done.
We are very much interested in the PPEs and other materials like the Veronica buckets and other things that's provided on the campuses. But largely everybody is hopeful that everything will be fine.
There's a considerable aspect about concerns raised on the health of the students as they make entry. What has been agreed with the management of the various tertiary institutions as they make entry? That whether they'll be tested or not, or in terms of the protocols of screening, so to speak.
Right. So prior to our last engagement with the president and then subsequently our press conference and our recommendation, which so far appeared to have been taken into consideration before the reopening, there were a number of things that we had initially called for. At this stage, I know that measures have been put in place for every student to be given at least 3 notes. The hand sanitizer, things are equally put in place. almost every individual. We couldn't come into a conclusion because we also need to look at the reality. When we sat down with the stakeholders, we realized that between the first time that we are now somewhere in March, so today, we've not tested more than 350,000. And as I speak to you, students in the universities alone, we have about 400, the final year students about 1. It's quite enough to say that everybody should be tested. And the assurances we have is that, yes, over time, this thing may be considered or may be done. But in the meantime, yes, we are going to have the thermometer guns and other things. And then, of course, constant monitoring to ensure that at least if somebody shows any signs and symptoms, we can easily pick up that person from the masses. But as much as possible, we also have assurances that the protocols are going to be observed, i.e. the social distancing, the reducing the number of students in the class. And of course, I mean, if classes are not necessary, there will not be lectures for some of these courses.
The discussions at the high level have also focused on how the students will be largely protected. What happens to the lecturers?
Okay, thank you, sir. I'm a KNOST, and we have protocols as the president suggested, right? And so management is following up with the directives given by the state, and that is the Ministry of Health and the other analogous institutions. And so basically, the WHO protocols are what is going to be adhered to. And so over the last week, because students are coming today, I've seen some of these protocols being put in place. But largely that is what it is. I mean, we are also hoping that because we are a higher institution, to adhere to the instructions, hoping that they will not endanger themselves and the election community. And so presently, basically, that is what we've done.
Now, where Richard Kojonyako joins us live. Richard Kojonyako, what's the story on the UCC campus? All right, Richard Kojonyako cannot hear me, so let's cross over and go to Ivy Setoji, who's at the Ho Technical University. Ivy, what's the situation where you are?
Yes, Mama, good morning. So at the Ho Technical University, students are going earlier who said they are from lectures, some of them going. They have Veronica buckets in every entrance, and before you enter the lecture hall, you have to wash your hands, and when you enter, you have to sanitize your hands. So yeah, everything is going on smoothly. The management is making sure that students adhere to the protocol here at the university. For now, we are unable to speak to the management because some of them are in meeting and some are also busy. But for now, at the Ho Technical University, students are going through going for their lectures. Some are also preparing for exams.
And that's Ivy Setoji, my colleague, reporting from the Ho Technical University. Let's cross over, if we can, to Richard Kojonyako. Otherwise, we're also going to get in touch with Dr. Seiram Kawo, who is also at the University of Cape Coast with the Finance Department. He's a senior lecturer there. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us. We're also going to be talking to Mr. Peter Anti, who is with iFirst. But Dr. Seiram Kawo, are you ready? Schools have reopened typically. How is it like for you?
Thank you very much. It's Mr. Seiram Kawo. We are ready for the students to come. It's business as usual. Once they had left campus, we have been having our lectures with them online. The final years that are coming in, they are just coming for revision, and then they take their final exams, and then they leave campus. So as usual for us here, we are ready for them. All the protocols are in place. We are hoping to have a fruitful discussions and meetings with our students here on the University of Cape Coast campus.
Okay, so Dr. Kawa, it means that you've been interacting and having lectures with students online. So this is not like your very first time meeting them.
Not at all. We've been having discussions with our students. We've been having lectures with them. Our virtual system of lecturing is working. And so this is not the first time they are coming to campus to have lectures. We have actually done 3/4 of the semester before the students left home. And when they went home, all the notes were given to them. Zoom meetings have been held with the students. And so they are just coming for revision, write the exams, and then they go back.
So what's your class size?
I have a class size of 650 students. That's the undergraduate level. We have some of the students who are about 400 students in the final year.
Do they all sit in the same class?
No, we divide them into various groups. And so the class that have 650 students have about 4 different classes that we meet them. But on the Zoom meeting, they are all together and then we have the lectures with them. But on the normal day, we meet them separately on different days and on different locations.
Okay, but with the changes now with coronavirus, it means that you even have to have a lot more classes. What's been the orientation from management? What's the way forward?
Thank you very much. We have the arrangement that have been put in place that the classes are not going to be more than 100. We have some bigger lecture rooms on campus that we are going to use for that particular discussions and lectures. New timetables have been prepared by management, and the students, as they report to campus today, will go through a formal orientation and the way they are supposed to behave on campus. This orientation has been given to all lecturers, and then we are all ready for the students to come in.
Okay, just finally with you, how is interactivity going to look like? Because it's part of, if you're in the class, you expect to interact with your lecturer. What's the plan with you in particular?
Okay, for me, I'm with a business school, and business school, most of the things that we do are technology driven. And once they are technology driven, there is the need for all of us to use the technology to do whatever we are doing. And this has been part of the program that we have been doing at the business school for some time. And so we are making sure that our students are addressed with the technologies that we are using. The challenge is that some of the students give a lot of complaints that they could not access the internet, the data bundles are high and all those things. But we try as much as possible to encourage them to make sure that they use the system just like the way they use the internet for their social media interactions, so that whatever that they are doing, they have to be part of it, because workers are working from home. Today, I'm talking to you from the office. Examinations for some professional bodies. I belong to Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. Last month, May, examinations were held from home. Students write the exams from the comfort of their homes, and scripts will be marked. These systems have been embedded in whatever we are doing. And so the use of technology, we cannot say that we are going to do without it. It has come to stay with us, and it is time for us to train our students to make sure that they use this system that will be beneficial to them.
All right, Dr. Kawo, you actually look upbeat, ready for what is ahead of you. So we wish you the best. Thank you very much for opening up and talking to us. That's Dr. Sarah Makawo with the University of Cape Coast School of Business, Department of Finance. He's a senior lecturer there. Let's also cross over and speak to Mr. Peter Enti, who is with IFES, the Institute for Education Studies. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us as well on News Desk. Mr. Enti, if you can hear me.
I can hear you. Good morning.
Okay, great. So with the reopening of schools, even though it's final year student, we still have quite a number of people showing up to the various campuses. What have you found out in terms of how this is going to go. First of all, they're supposed to be receiving some PPEs. We're not sure if all is in place. The report that we've received, at least from KNUST, it looks like everything is going on well. But what have you picked up?
All right, thank you very much. One of the issues that we raised before schools would come to life as we are witnessing today was that the government and the ministry should, as much as possible, provide the PPEs and all the things that are needed by the schools before or on the day of reopening. And we raised that issue because we picked from the grounds that most of the parents and the students and even the teachers were not that convinced that this. We're not that convinced that these things, as promised by the relevant authorities, would be provided. So it was heartwarming yesterday when we picked from the news that most of the things that are needed are being sent to the schools as we rightly advocated for. Most of the schools, as your correspondents have been giving you updates since morning, have reopened. The students are going back to campus because for them, they have no choice because they are in their final year. Most of them were eager to finish school and go to the world of work and fend for themselves. So it was just an opportunity given them for them to just come and then do what they are supposed to do and leave campus. And we think that as and when we monitor the process and the reopening situation and issues come up, we'll be able to speak to it. But for now, everything seems to be in line as projected by most of us.
There's also the fear, because we still continue to record cases, that the fact that schools are reopened could also result in some spikes with our numbers.
Yes, that is a right kind of a fear that everybody would have. Personally, I also have that kind of fear because when you look at the research that have gone on with this COVID thing and reopening of schools, some of the countries that reopened their schools had to shut down because it's led to a spike in the number of positive cases recorded. So that is a possibility. That is something that we cannot rule out. But then the most important thing, as we keep saying, is that we need to set out the health protocols and the right channel of communication in the event that we report some of these things. So that is what we are so much interested in, that in the event that a student is picked as having contracted the virus, what are the processes that these institutions will go through in order that they will, one, not create fear and panic, and two, stop the spread of the disease. So these are very important things that we are critically monitoring on the ground, that there should be a laid-down protocol that in the event that the student is detected of having that particular virus or showing symptoms, what measures are the schools putting in place to ensure that this thing will not cause fear and panic, and also it will not spread in the campuses. On this, we will say that although government have a lot of things to do, the management of the various tertiary institutions have also a bigger role to play, because their management of cases as they come up would be very, very important for all of us, parents, the lecturers on campus, the students themselves, and everybody that is in the university community. So the management of the various tertiary institutions should be upbeat about these kind of things and putting the requisite measures so that they will not put their own institutions under public criticisms.
Okay, Mr. Pitanti, just real quick, okay.
Yeah, I think that most of the complaints that were coming were that students were complaining of not having data and then access to internet. Mm-hmm. Now that they are on campus, I still think that the students can, the online learning can go on because most of the campus have free Wi-Fi. So the lecturers who are still doing online, students can stay in their various rooms and hostels or whatever it is and continue with the online so that it will still reduce the one-on-one or physical interaction among the students, so that maybe they meet once in a week and then they do what they are supposed to do.
All right. That's Mr. Peter Ansi. He's with the Institute of Education Studies. Thank you very much for the analysis there. Let's go back to the University of Cape Coast campus and join my colleague Richard Kojojako. Richard, what can you report for us this morning? It's day one reopening. Hello, Richard Kojojako. All right.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, Richard Kojojako, if you can hear me, I see you are right in front of Adesha Hall. What's the story on the University of Cape Coast campus?
Okay, so right in front of Adesha Hall, you can see some of the students that are seated under some tents provided by the hall management. They are also putting up in certain things in place to enable them observe all the protocols before they gain entry into the hall. I understand that they will be taking through the necessary orientation on how to behave on campus. They are not to go to any other hall. The halls will not allow visitors in. So if you are, for instance, in the Adesha Hall, you will not be allowed any entry to Atlantic Hall that is very close, or any of the halls as well. So that is one of the things management of the University of Cape Coast they have put in place. So right in front of Adesha Hall, you can see the hand washing basin. They also have some of the hand washing items there. You need to wash your hands thoroughly under running water before you are allowed entry into the hall. I can see some parents drove all the way from Accra, from other parts of the country. They brought their children to the University of Cape Coast. Others also use public transport. But I've been speaking with some of the students. They believe that it is in the right order, some, but others believe that they could have still stayed in their house and continued with the online session. Those who said they had data and they were comfortable with that because they fear, they don't know, but they are still praying and hoping against hope that nothing will happen. There wouldn't be spike in the cases in Ghana and on campus. But I also returned from the University of Cape Coast Hospital, where they've put in place some measures, some isolation centers, some holding bay, and other things as well, to assure the students that they are adequately prepared to receive them on campus. So that is currently what's been going on. But as earlier indicated, when I spoke with the Director of Public Affairs at the University of Cape Coast, he said that they are not going to allow church services and other religious gathering or any other gathering on campus. Once you are admitted in the hall, that is where you are supposed to be. And unless you have some significant reasons or some important reasons why they should allow you out, then they will do so. So they are making all the effort to bring all those that were resident outside the hall. So those who stay in the diaspora, they are all to be accommodated in the hall. But I can tell you for a fact that the students started arriving on campus even a week earlier than today. So some of them have been in their respective hostels, and they are saying that they are comfortable in the hostels they are, and they will not be able to go to the hall.
Okay, so Richard, lectures have not quite begun. This is still day one, and so this is still a period of orientation, if you like.
Yes, so there will be about 2 days of orientation to let the students know what they are to do here and how they are to behave on campus. And I presume that lectures, they wouldn't really have lectures. They have tutorials, they have revision, and they have exams. So they are using this period to orient them. They say that that is a very key component of their stay here. So it is when they are done with that, then they will resort to the tutorials. And all of these tutorials, the revision and the exams will be done at the various large lecture theaters. The University of Cape Coast has about 6 or 8 of them. That is where these lectures are going to be organized.
We pulled up one of those old files, so we've seen how typically the classrooms look like. Have you been told what it would look like going forward, observing the distance protocol?
Well, so if you, I think what the semblance will be what is at the frontage of Adesha Hall, for instance. So the spaces are there, indicating that they are ready to go strictly according to the social distancing protocol. So I presume that they are going to keep the distance and the spaces in between students and the lectures. So they wear their mask, and they have also put in place no face masks, no entry policy. And so without any face masks, they are not going to allow anybody in. But what I presume the students will be waiting for will be the items that they are going to put the PPEs that they send to the various universities. I do not believe that they have them or they have distributed them. Maybe they are going to do that in the course of the day.
Okay.
Some of the halls do not even have the thermometer guns ready, but others do have. And so as and when they are done with the orientation, then they will allow the students entry or access into the various halls of rest.
Okay, Richard Konyanyako, we wait for that report of yours so we can appreciate in terms of the seating arrangement there at the University of Cape Coast. But he also did mention that they have a holding bay, which is at the Cape Coast Hospital for the university. Let's cross over, come back to Accra. Let's go to Nana Yao Safo PSA, who's at the University of Ghana campus. PSA, what can you report?
Yes, Mamavi, here at the Jones Courty building, one of the largest lecture complexes on campus. Still, it appears that many of the final year students are yet to report to campus. It might be the rings, it might be how comfortable they are so far with their online duties. But the very few that we spoke to have different reasons for showing up entirely. Here with me are Susie and Ruby, final year accounting students. They talk to us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so how are preparation going so far?
Okay, we started the exam some days back and about 4 days ago, and it's going well.
And it appears still there are very less of you final year students, especially on campus. It was for you that this directive was given yesterday. What's up with that? What's the main problem?
Okay, we can say that due to the risk involved in the COVID-19, you can't tell who is having it or who is not. Most students prefer to be at home and write instead of coming to campus.
So why did you decide to be here?
Okay, I personally came here because I want a good internet and I have less hours to finish my exams, which I can't take the risk of being at home.
But let's come to you, Susie. The most important question on people's minds at the moment, do you feel safe with your studies here?
No, we don't
feel safe.
We don't really feel safe because we don't know the status of each and everybody we would encounter here. But then we will try as much as possible to put the safety protocols into place so that at least we might feel a little bit safe, but we are not really safe.
So if authorities are watching you now, what would be your call to them, the university management?
Okay, I would tell them that they should give us the protective equipment as much as we need. You know, some people don't even have masks. Our masks are in our bags. Okay.
Why?
Because when we started, we've been distanced from other people. You get it? So we've practiced social distance, and the mask, when you should wear it, there's a lot of heat, and then you can't really breathe. So
don't you prefer that to...
So when you reach somewhere, you have to at least release it so that you would inhale some of the fresh air. You get, so when we get to crowded places, we would put them on. But then
here's the case where we established that the air we are having in the country as of now is not so fresh due to COVID-19. So why take that risk in the first place?
No, I didn't say the air. I'm saying that we don't know the status of everybody, so we can't be safe here. As I'm going to encounter with somebody, I don't know where that person was from. I don't know the substance or the surfaces that person has touched. So I can't be certain that this person doesn't have COVID-19.
So thank you so much. Those were the voices of Susie and Ruby, final year accounting students. As I told you earlier, they are preparing for the exam. We would leave them for quite a while. But as I mentioned, not only final year students are on campus as at the moment. As you can see behind me, there are some gentlemen also studying. They tell me they are not final year students. In fact, they are not even main campus students. We'll ask them also of how far with their duties here. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Okay, so you tell me you're not final year student?
No, please.
Okay, so tell us about yourself then.
I'm a second year student.
Okay.
I come here because of I live not far away from here, so I come here. I have an exams to write, online exams to take, so I came here to do my exams.
Yeah. But I can see you don't have any nose mask on or anything. Let's talk about safety.
That's right. Help me. Yeah, I have no nose mask on.
So we can see no authorities come around to check whether nose mask enforcement and others are done?
No, please.
Okay. That's also from their side. Moving to our left, the facility here, you can see is the Tingy's snack bar, and they offer for students that may be tired or hungry from the day's work. They have snacks available that they can enjoy. We'll also ask them and check how they are preparing, as final year students have been allowed back for their studies, the partial reopening. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Okay, so you are the manager of Tingy's snack bar. If you mind telling us your name.
Oh, my name is Ali.
Okay. Yeah. And now final year students are going to return to campus, or they've been allowed to return now for the brief period. How are your preparations here in ensuring safety?
Well, we are well prepared. All our drinks and food are intact. It's just that the students are not in, so we are just hoping that they will come in and everything will go on well.
But say I just entered, I'm here to buy food. What are the protocols I have to go through?
Oh, well, at the entrance we have where you wash your hands.
Do you mind showing us around?
Oh.
Yeah. So he's taking me to the door where they begin the process. Usually, for most students, as I said, you come here after a hard day's work, you come here after studying for several hours or before lectures to grab something small for your day. So most often than not, these things are not regularly enforced. But today, due to COVID-19, these are systems that we face. So if you mind taking us through.
Well, when you come, you have to wash your hands with the soap under the running water. You come inside, you have tissue inside. You use it to clean your hands before you do anything you want to do. But before you come in, we are expecting you to have your nose mask.
So what happens if I don't have it on?
Well, it's another problem. But maybe we will advise you that next time when you are coming, you have to have your nose mask on before you can come inside.
So there is no enforcement once again. You advise them?
Yes, please.
Okay, but by that time you may have already contracted. If I have COVID-19, I might have spread it all over your snack bar then.
No, but it's not that maybe when you come inside you are going to touch something, but when you come we are observing the social distance protocol. So when you come, you talk, but maybe when you even have the disease, I wouldn't contract the disease because there's some distance between the two of us.
Okay, thank you. So, Mama V, that is basically how here at the Jones Quarter Building, one of the largest lecture facility complexes on campus here, they are going about duties.
And that's PSC Nanaya Safo. What I have observed sitting here and listening to his reports, the fact that the students are not wearing nose masks, yet sitting very closely to each other on campus. Another leg of the conversation is President Akufo-Addo announcing that it is now mandatory for Ghanaians to wear nose mask. In his 11th address to the nation, he said those who fall foul of the order will face arrest and possible prosecution. President Akufo-Addo also warned residents of the Greater Accra, Ashanti, Western and Central regions, which have recorded the highest number of cases so far, to be particularly careful and adhere to the recommended protocols to halt the spread of the disease.
It is important for me to remind residents of the Greater Accra and Ashanti regions, where the great majority of cases have been recorded, and in the Western and Central regions, where we're seeing an increase in infection cases, to continue to adhere strictly to the social distancing and enhanced hygiene protocols announced. With the doctors and scientists telling us that the virus is transmitted from human contact through talking, singing, coughing, and sneezing, which results in sending droplets of the virus from one person to another. Residents of these 4 regions, and indeed all Ghanaians, must remember that the wearing of masks is now mandatory. Leaving our homes without a face mask or face covering on is an offense. The police have been instructed to enforce this directive, which is the subject of an executive instrument. Let me repeat, our survival is in our own hands. If we are lax and inattentive, we will continue to have serious challenges with the virus. If we are mindful and self-disciplined, we have it in us to defeat this pandemic and help return our lives to normalcy. I appeal to each and every one of you for your help in this regard.
And that's President Akufo-Addo there. When we return, we'll bring you business here on the desk. Stay with us.
Good morning, welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Prices of petroleum products are to see a significant increase this week. Joy Business's projection and industry data indicate that it could go up by as much as 5%. The adjustment is in line with the two-week review of prices at the pumps. There was a similar jump from the beginning of this month, and based on our projections, a liter of diesel and petrol may go for 4 cedis 67 pesos, translating into a little over 21 cedis, whilst a kilogram of LPG should be up by 7%. Well, earlier, the chief executive of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies, Kweku Ajumandia, had told Joy Business that with the current market conditions and tax on various products, it was difficult for the increase to be absorbed.
Up like this, and they want to make sure that at least they get something, because forgetting that when the COVID was on, in lockdown, our volumes went down, but then the price was also going down. Now, the price is turning around. So as we are coming up, we need to show up our working capital. But the question is, where do you get working capital? The one you sold last time when the prices were low, they were so low that you didn't have enough. And the volumes are already gone down. Now, anytime there's a price increase, volume automatically goes down for a short period, short run. So it's trying to price now with the high prices versus volume. So that's the OMC is in that dilemma. That's why you're not seeing the price going up. But within the window, they will respond.
This week. In other news, farmers in the country have expressed worry that the COVID-19 pandemic is likely to cause scarcity of food. However, a farmer-based organization, RMG Ghana Limited, is allaying the fears of farmers and the public by launching the Feeding Ghana After COVID-19 program in the Upper West region. Correspondent Rafiq Salam has more.
Arguably, the twin Sisala-dominant areas are the food basket of the Upper West region. Though roads to the farms and market centers are unmotorable or inaccessible, they have been able to produce cereals like maize and soybean in several thousands of tons every year to feed themselves and also for commercial purposes. In fact, over 700,000 bags of maize was produced last year from the enclave. Over the years, farmers in the area have been supported to achieve their feat by private companies like RMG Ghana Limited, who are registered under Government Planting for Food and Jobs program. However, in the midst of the emergence of COVID-19, the disease caused by coronavirus, which has wreaked havoc and halted growth of several economies in the world, the people are at a fix, scared and confused, wondering whether they will be able to go into their good old profession now that the rains are on. There are even speculations that there will be scarcity of food, and the people fears that they may not be able to feed themselves, let alone thinking of commercial purposes. RMG Ghana Limited therefore came to the rescue of the people with the launch of the Feeding Ghana After COVID-19 program. They handed over subsidized fertilizer, hybrid seeds, and weedicides to over 42,000 smallholder farmers in the Sisala East Municipality and Sisala West District. Asari Bedi is the project coordinator of RMG.
All the inputs that are required for them to produce will be given to them on credit. They are going to go and work with it, produce something, and come and pay back West region we are supporting close to 11,000 farmers, and we are doing 4,000 acres for rice. So basically, that's what we are doing.
He also allays the fears of the public regarding the scarcity of
2,000. We are also looking at over 250,000 bags of fertilizer, over 80,000 bags of urea, and other crop protection products. At the end of the day, we are estimating that or projecting to gather about 750,000 bags of 50 kg. That is close to about 40,000 metric tons of maize ready to serve the Ghanaian people. There is hope after COVID. There is going to be food because the farmers, as you saw, are ready to go back to their fields and plant.